Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we have a special guest. This is my line sister and my best friend, Eunice. You want to introduce yourself? I mean, I kind of just did.
Yeah, you just did.
But we met our freshman year of college, 2015, and we became line sisters in 2018, and then we graduated from Spelman College in 2019, and we are still best friends, still living in Atlanta. So we actually went live maybe a couple of days ago because everybody is quarantining right now. So we went live and we did a question and answers video. And so our last question was, what do you look for in a significant other? And then someone asked, like, is money important? So it just went into a whole 20-minute tangent. So we decided, why not make another video just dedicated to relationships and advice and put it on YouTube. So we are both going to answer the questions together, but before we get into it, we just want to say, like, we are not relationship gurus. Like, we are just talking to y'all based on our experience. We are 22 and 23 years old. We've been dating since we were like, what, 15? 14, 15. So just any young women who watch my page, I just want y'all to learn from me. Whatever this video gets into, just learn from it. So we put on both of our Instagrams to submit questions to us, and y'all, don't mind my nails. I'm sure everybody's nails looks like this right now, but I talk on my hands, so I can't avoid it. Y'all are gonna see my crazy nails. But we got a good, I would say, 25 questions, which is gonna take up a lot of time. So we tried to break them down into like themes. So we're gonna just jump right into it, guys, with the first question. And
the theme is platonic relationships.
Yes. So someone asked, touch on y'all's platonic relationship and how have y'all maintained a healthy friendship. So before we get into that, this is the only question that deals with like
the two of us.
Everything else is gonna be about our dating experience, but we thought this was still a good question. So do you want to start, or you want me to start?
Okay, so just like Camryn said, we started being friends in 2015. So we came into college, we had no idea who each other were. We have a friend group of 6 people. So like, I'll speak on us, but just as a whole, when I say we, I'm speaking on the friend group. But one thing I think keeps our friendship healthy is we are very transparent with each other. So if there's an issue in the friend group, if someone doesn't like something, if something didn't sit right, we talk about it and we have that dialogue. And it's not, you know, we know how to speak to each other and have those conversations. We're with each other all the time. We have those sit downs. We spend a lot of time together, and I think that's what's kept our friendship healthy post grad experience, because we're all over the place. We've started working. Some of our friends are still in school, or starting new chapters in graduate programs. So we're all over the place, but we make certain we're still spending time doing the same things we did when we were, how old were we, 17, 18 in a dorm room. So that's kept the relationship thorough, or the friendship thorough.
Yeah. And just to second that, like, 2 things. One, it was a lot of trial and error. Like she said, there's 6 people in our friend group, so we had to learn a lot along the way. Like, the people that we were when we were 18, like, the way we used to argue, the way we used to communicate our feelings is very different than us at 22, 23. Like, we've definitely matured. And then the second thing is, I think we've gotten to a point where our friendships, we treat them almost if they're like our relationships. So like, I consider them my soulmates. I know if there's no guy in my life, I will have them. So if I put them on that high of a pedestal, then yes, like, they're important enough to work on my friendships like I will work on my relationships. So I think we've done a lot of work. So that's how we keep healthy. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to platonic relationships, but your platonic relationships and then your partner's platonic relationships. So someone asked, is it possible for your guys to have a girl best friend or vice versa? So whatever relationship you're in, if you date a woman, if you're a woman, you date a woman and she has friends with other women, however you want to spin that, just how do you feel about your partner having a relationship like with their best friend? Like, how do you feel about that relationship?
You want me to start? Okay, so I personally...
Is it possible? Is it possible?
I very well think it's possible. One of my best friend is a guy. So we've been best friends since 6th grade. We're next door neighbors. Like, that is my best friend. And at no point in time was it ever inappropriate. Was it ever crossing any lines? Was it ever, you know, he's had his relationships, I've had mine. You know, that doesn't even cross your mind. When it's a true and it's an authentic relationship, how Camryn spoke on our friendship, it's the same way with him. So I personally don't think that there's a problem with genuine, like, best friendships. When your partner has a genuine best friend, especially if they've been in your life before your partner has. Like, no guy can come in my life and tell me I can't be best friends with somebody that's known me since I was 10.
Right.
Like,
I completely agree with that. I just know personally for me, okay, I'm looking at my nails now. I haven't seen it work, so I'm just playing devil's advocate. I haven't seen it work in my personal life. I think it's okay. I just know I haven't been able to find that balance between having, I'm talking about for me personally, like me having a guy best friend and then me also having like a relationship. I think if you know that you are attracted to your best friend in any way, where it's like, if he wasn't my best friend, he would be like the one, or vice versa. If they've ever commented to you like, you really wife material, or if you weren't if your guy best friend hints at you in that way, then no, like I don't think
it's appropriate.
It works, because eventually someone is going to cross that line. So that's what all I'm saying. I think it could work. I just haven't experienced it.
And then best friends, like, you know, like in our generation, or like when we were younger, people used to be like, oh, that's my best friend, and you knew them for like a week. Like, guys used to always want to have girl best friends. No.
Yeah.
Like true, genuine best friendship, whatever the word is.
And there's no possibility that the line will ever be crossed.
Yeah.
So kind of with that as well, someone asked if you haven't been introduced to your partner's friends, but he's met all of yours, is that bad? I think that's the kind of like a it depends type of question. I've always felt it necessary to introduce my partner to my friends. Yeah. So that's just because I've always envisioned my friends liking my significant other. Like, I consider my friendships to be very important, so I value their opinion on my partner. So if my partner didn't introduce me to his guy friends, I probably would feel away. Like, you know all of my friends, but I don't know anybody in your life who's important to you. I
feel like that's a little bit of a cause for concern. Like you said, I make sure that my partners are familiar with my friends. Like, we just touched on the whole soulmate thing. Like, even outside of our friendships here, like family, loved ones, I want you to know them. I want you to be able to be around them. If I see myself with you, they're going to be in my life, and so are you. So I would hope that it was the equal playing field. And it's like, why haven't I met them? You know, if these are your friends, like your genuine friends, I'm your partner, why haven't we crossed paths?
Right. And that can go the same for parents. Like, after a while, if your partner isn't introducing you to their parents, it's just like, do you not see me as someone long-term in your life? Because I know for me, I didn't tell my mom about everybody. I didn't tell my dad about everybody. But like, at a certain point, if people were on my mind constantly, I'm gonna bring them up around my family. Okay, so another question was, how do you not come between your boyfriend and his best friends if they're girls and you don't get along? So I think this could go any way if it's like a girl or a guy. But I don't know, if you don't get along with your boyfriend's best friends, what do?
I feel like at that point, that's the role your partner plays. Like, that's the middle ground. So, like, at that point, now not necessarily they have to step in or they're supposed to be like this big mediator, but on the lowest of keys almost. Because like, if we being me and your best friend, can't come to a mutual understanding and we both are going to remain in your life and you value us both, then it's kind of your role to kind of like fix the energy almost.
I completely agree with that. I don't even know if I have anything to add to that, because like she said, you can't come at your partner's best friend. Like, it's up to them.
Yeah.
Because they know both parties to mend that.
But then I also, like, just an additional point, I feel like your partner should know and value and love, like, who you love.
Yeah.
So if it's that major of a disconnect, what got lost in translation?
Yeah. That's very true, because you should want the best for your best friend. So if you don't see that their partner is the best, or if your partner sees like, okay, your best friend doesn't really care about you, then it's like, okay, something's off.
Yeah.
So I feel that. Okay, so that's it for platonic relationships. Okay, so we're gonna move to like stages of relationships. So this kind of touches on like talking stage, dating, relationship, college, all of that. The stages of dating, from talking, dating, relationships. And then someone else also asked, how do you get out the talking stage? How long is the talking stage? So we're just gonna wrap that all into one.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like the stages of dating are pretty self-explanatory, like straightforward. It's just meet somebody, you start dating them.
You're interested.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess like if you're intimate with a person before you're even dating them, that could be one way a relationship starts too. But I think how it should be, but I don't know. Like talking to, you meet them, you text them for a bit, you feel like you feel them out, see if you like them, and hopefully one person asks the other on a date, and then you all go on multiple dates, and then they ask you to be in a committed relationship. Now that's where things get tricky, because how long is the talking stage? How long should you be talking to somebody before you are ready for the relationship, or they're ready for the relationship? And what if you're never ready? So I guess diving into that question, if I could put a number on it, like I think it's very much easier said than done. I think it's dependent on y'all's vibe. If things are going well, I mean, what's keeping y'all from getting in a relationship? Like, why is the talking stage going past 6 months? I feel like at 3 months it should be like, okay, what are we doing? But at 6 months, it's like you all very clearly should know if you all want to be together, or what are we, should we not be together? How do you feel about that?
You know what I'm about to say. At a certain point, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Like, and I feel like a lot of people go wrong because they're not aligned with what their expectations are. So let's say, for an example, I'm really into someone. I see us going somewhere past a talking stage, past the kiki, into something official and serious, and this person never agrees that that's something that they want to do, then somebody's left high and dry. So I feel like not necessarily from the jump, like when you're getting to know this person, but at a certain point, dialogue needs to be had. Okay, this is what we're doing. This is how I'm feeling in this moment. This is where I can see us going. And that leaves the space for the other person to be like, well, I'm enjoying this. However, I have no intention to be in a relationship.
Right. And I think it's one thing where both parties are like, okay, we're both having fun, like we enjoy spending time together, but neither of us are ready for a relationship. But it's a completely other deal if one person is like adamant on, I want to be with you long term, I want to build something with you, and the other person isn't. Because clearly, I mean, logically, I feel like in situations that I've been like that, like, you know, like, you know where y'all are headed, and you know if that other person doesn't want to be in that same place with you. So someone else asks, like, how do you get out of the talking stage? And I don't know if you can get out of it. Like, I don't know if you can, like, talk your way out of the talking stage. Like, it's just, don't convince somebody to ask you to be in a relationship if you've already brought it up. I feel like
I had someone tell me before, like, we were talking about like this whole thing, and they said that in the past women would try to force them into being serious and being committed. And even if it's the other way around, a man trying to force a woman trying to force a woman, whatever, you know, the case may be, you cannot make somebody see like that in you. Like, you can do all things in your power to try to prove to this person you're the one, and whatever the case may be. If it's not it, it's just not it.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. So know if it's that situation, but then also know, like, some guys, I'm saying guys because that's just my experience, but like some guys don't know that they need to ask you. Like, can you say that?
I feel like some guys don't know, but you should.
Yeah, you should know. Guys who are watching, like, sometimes guys can be like, well, you're my girl. No. So, like, I didn't think I needed to ask you.
No.
But ladies, like, or whatever, if you feel like that your partner needs to explicitly ask you to be in a relationship, they should know that. Like, make it clear what you want. That's the only way you get out the talking stage. Don't convince anybody to ask you to be with them.
And don't force it. If you see it's done, it's done. Like, if you see it's not happening, it's just not happening.
Yeah. So another question was, or a topic was dating to marry. And so I can start with that. One, if you're 16, if you're 16, 14.
That's where we went wrong.
Yeah, you're not dating to marry because you have not even been to college yet. You don't even know how you're going to support yourself as an adult. So no, like, I think dating when you're in your teenage years is fun, and it should be fun. Like, you should not, I mean, I know people get heartbroken at 16, 18, whatever, but that's the time where when you start dating other people, that's the time to learn things about yourself, learn things that you like in a partner, don't like. But at the end of the day, you cannot hold a 16-year-old guy to a high standard.
We're so young.
Like, you can't expect
your
partner to treat you like a wife or a husband at 16. Like, the focus is not there. I think at my age, I'm 22 and I'm dating to marry now. Like, yes, I'm still young, and yes, I want to enjoy my time, but I don't want to waste time with someone who does not want to be with me long term. Someone asked, how does social media affect relationships? Should you post your partner?
Okay, I'm gonna say my sentiments. These are my sentiments. If I post my partner, it's because I feel like it. If I don't post my partner, I'm just not posting my partner. There's no underlying message. I'm not sneaking and geeking. I'm not doing all of that. I truly feel like, for me personally, not having my relationships in the past, I've had very public relationships. I've been in public relationships, and it leaves too much room for, you know, outside people to get in. You know, you assume if I delete this picture, she not posting him no more, this, that, and the third. Like, it adds too many outside voices and opinions inside. Everybody doesn't have to know everything. I guess that's my point. Like, everybody doesn't have to see everything. If we're on a date, you know, and I want y'all to see we're out having a good time, okay, cool. But that doesn't justify anything, because there's people out here who are posting their partners and they being dumb bold.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong if you post your partner. There's nothing wrong if you don't post your partner. But if you get to the point where you're asking your partner, like, hey, why don't you post me on social media? I think that there's like an underlying issue that's not just about you being posted on social media. It's like, you feel like people don't know about you. You feel like it may be other people, and he can't show you because he or she can't show you because they're gonna be like, what is that? And so I think if you're finding yourself asking, that is probably because there's other issues that aren't related to social media. Also, social media is like a really mean place. People are spiteful on social media, so I definitely don't think that your personal business, as far as what argument you and your partner got into today, or you're trying to post something so your partner can see, like, people can see through that. So I definitely think, like, your private life, like your private conversations that you have with your partner, your private issues, should be off social media. Nobody needs to know about that, because that's not a place where people will really give you advice. They just want to be nosy. And that's just from my personal experience. Like, there probably are some nice people out there who will give you advice, but people are there to snoop. So don't put your business on social media.
It should never be your, like, point of clarity, because you can do and say anything on social media.
And that kind of goes into our next question about why don't relationships last in this generation. I think social media plays a very big role in that, because people go on social media to find things that they don't have, and the things that they desire for, and so none of that is real.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you get on social media and you see celebrity couples, or even couples that are our age that just have money, and you see them buying their girl a new bag, or they're going on a vacation, and then you and your partner are sitting in your apartment like, why can't I have that?
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's not where the focus needs to be. And I feel like our generation is so attached to social media, but everybody on social media is faking it. Like, nobody is truly who they are in real life on social media. It may be bits and pieces of them, but it's not the full story. So I think people compare their relationships to other relationships, and that's why things can't last.
Do you think that there's other parts of it though?
About why it doesn't last in this generation?
I saw something on social media, since we're talking about social media, I saw something on Twitter that said, it's not that our relationships aren't lasting in this day and age, it's that women in this day and age have the willpower, the finances, the everything to get up and go.
I agree with that. I agree with, well, do you think that, I think our generation is very, very different than our parents' generation and our grandparents' generations, for sure. Like, women aren't graduating from college and then deciding, oh, I want to get married and have kids, or I need to take care of my man and raise a family. Like, people don't have that same mindset anymore. So I think, like, people, they don't see, the only reason why our generation are in relationships is because they want to be. It's not because they have to be.
Exactly.
Like, a lot of women aren't waiting for a man to come swoop them up and take care of them anymore. So why am I wasting time being in a relationship when I don't need anything from you? So I agree with that too.
Or dealing with things I don't have to.
Okay, so the next question is, should you plan your future with consideration of your partner? You want to start?
You know my sentiments on this. I'm a firm believer in figuring yourself out first and making sure you have yourself together first. At a certain point though, I do understand wanting to make sure you're aligned moving forward with your partner. So me at 23, I'm 23 right now, I'm secure in my job, I have a home here, I have a support system here. If my partner was to up and move to Ghana, I can't say right now I'm gonna up and move to Ghana. We would have to kind of figure that out, you know, but at a certain point when we're really like buckling down and we're trying to, you know, take it to that level, we're talking long term, we're trying to build a family, all of that, I feel like that, you know, that comes into play then. But I'm a firm believer in taking care of yourself first.
Yeah.
And making sure you have your things together first, because God forbid I follow somebody, and that's a lack of better words, but follow somebody, whether it be for a job or anything of the sort, and lose sight of all I had going in the process. So
yes, I agree with that. I think it depends on where you are in life. Like Eunice said, like, if you are still working through what you need to work through, if you're still not where you want to be, I definitely wouldn't plan my future around my partner, because I had goals before I had a partner. So I don't think you should lose sight of that. So our next question was how to have a healthy long distance relationship. So I've experienced that. I'm experiencing that now. And I mean, I really think the key is, obviously, like, the obvious choice is communication. You're not even gonna be able to sit with your partner in silence, and they're not next to you. So it's like, your communication is key. There isn't time for like going a day without speaking to each other, because it's one thing if we're in the same apartment and I get to see you at night, or I get to see you on a weekend after a hard work week. There is none of that. It's like daily you have to be committed to having flawless communication, because when you have arguments like regular people do, you can't hug and make up. Like, you have to be willing to sit on the phone and work through those problems. But also, I think it's different like if you're in college, because you can't just go get up and fly to see your partner in the middle of a semester. But I think I'm in a long distance relationship, but I have the means to fly to see my partner, so we see each other very often.
I actually feel like distance can and will make, what is the saying, like the heart grow fonder, but both parties have to be willing to do it.
Right.
Because I've seen situations where long distance relationships go up in flames because they physically just can't be in each other's, you know, presence. But I personally feel like if you can't be with me from 20,000 miles away, then you just don't need to be with me.
Becoming long distance should not end your relationship. Like, there should be enough foundation there that if someone does have to move, y'all will be fine. Like, we live in a day and age where we're not writing letters and sending them. Like, we have FaceTime, we have Zoom. Like, everybody using Zoom now. Like, there's ways to make it work. So if it's not working, it's something else going on. So now we're gonna move into like some harder questions, like breakups, when is enough. Like, we got through like stuff to do in a relationship. This is like the real hard stuff.
Let me get situated.
So how do you keep dating fun when you've been at it a while? Like, if you're in year 3 or maybe year 1 and things are boring, like y'all aren't laughing anymore, what do you do? How do you keep it fun?
You have to put forth the effort to keep it fun. So it's like in the honeymoon phase, everybody wants to do everything. They want to go on a date, they want to kiki, we're gonna spend a night every night, all of that. And then at a certain point it's like, okay, now what?
Yeah.
And so that's where the effort has to come in. Like, do things to keep your relationship fresh. It doesn't always have to be about spending money on me and taking me everywhere. What are you doing to show me you still care? What are you doing to still show me you value me how you did the first day we got in the relationship? It's literally the small things.
Right. I saw this post, I'm gonna keep it short. I saw this post and it was like, you have to date your partner forever.
Yeah.
And I completely agree with that. Like, how we talked about the stages before, like, think about dating point 1 and dating point 2. Like, you're dating your partner to actually be in a relationship, but when you're in the relationship, continue to go on dates, continue to date each other, continue to learn new things about each other, because I promise you, there's some things you don't know about that person. You lived a whole life before you met them. How to navigate in a relationship when someone isn't willing to communicate. If you're dating a partner who is stubborn, something has to give. Like, communication is what is going to save any relationship, whether it's with your friends, your mom, your dad, your partner. Like, if your partner isn't willing to communicate, what are you supposed to do? Read their mind? Like, I know a lot of people are stubborn, they don't know how to communicate, they don't want to say what's on their mind, but to me, I feel like there's just no way around it. Like, you're going to have to say how you feel. And there's one thing, if you're coming at your partner aggressively, I can get why they may not want to communicate with you or talk to you, but if you're being rational about your feelings, your partner needs to step up and communicate.
I would say I can be a little bit stubborn, right? And everybody has different ways of navigating situations, how they talk, how they, get their points across. But I think it's important to understand that as far as communication, when you're in a trying time or having a difficult conversation, it's not you versus your partner. Like, we're not in a war zone. So remaining level-headed enough to where we can actually have the dialogue about what is going on. Communication doesn't always have to be negative.
It's about having emotional intelligence. You have to be, like, we are adults. Or, I mean, some of y'all watching, y'all may not be adults yet, but try to learn the best way for you to express your emotions. Like, not in a way where you have to cry, not in a way where you have to yell. Like, be able to articulate how you're feeling. Okay, so the next question, how can you tell if your partner is manipulative?
I feel like if you have to ask that question, then your partner is manipulative.
Yeah.
You're just trying to figure out ways.
if you feel like your partner is doing things on purpose to get a certain reaction out of you, or get you, or try to hurt you, like if they're saying things that they don't mean or doing things they don't mean to get a specific reaction, I think that's manipulative. Because I think when you try to manipulate something, it's like you want things to go your way. Yeah. So you want your partner to view you a certain way, you want your partner to respond a certain way, and you can tell if like they do something, they say something mean because they want you to feel sad in that moment. I don't know why somebody would do that, but people are like that. And then they come back later and they say, oh, I was just playing, oh, I didn't mean that. But like, you know, at the end of the day that they really did mean that. It's not love to manipulate your partner. Or what are you gonna say?
And I feel like it's important to understand that there's a wide range of ways somebody can be manipulative. So there's financial manipulation, there's emotional manipulation, there's different ways that somebody can be manipulative,
even physical.
So like, reflecting on that, understanding that, I personally feel like if you have to ask that question out loud, how do I know if my partner is being manipulative, you already are identifying that behavior as manipulative. You're just trying to confirm it is, and you just confirmed it.
Okay, so someone just straight up asked, when is enough enough? And Eunice made a great point earlier when we were talking about this. You want to elaborate on it? But like, you know, when like if you're asking that question, you know that you're at enough if you have to ask it. Like,
and nobody can tell you what enough is for you. So what enough is for me might not mirror what enough is for you. I might be able to take a little more. I might not take as much as you can take, right? I'm not with who you're with. You know, nobody's with who you're with but you, hopefully. So you have to know, you know when enough is enough. Yeah, if you have to sit up here and say, okay, when is enough enough? You already thinking you had enough. If
you have to convince yourself that, okay, things may get better, I think there's a certain time frame for that. But like, if you're asking yourself already when is enough enough, you've hit the point where you've probably already tried everything there is to try. Things aren't working, things aren't resonating with your partner or even yourself, and that's when enough is enough. And something being enough, like, it doesn't always necessarily, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Like, some people just grow up, some people you date in high school and you're in college and you're just like, okay, like, we love each other, but we're not the same. Like, that relationship has run its course. I think that's completely okay.
And you can love somebody fully and not be with them.
And obviously that's easier said than done. We're gonna get into like how to get over an ex, letting go of a relationship, all that later. But what I wanted to add was, someone also asked, how do you love someone from a distance? So when you get to the point where enough is enough and maybe y'all want to take a break, maybe y'all want to explore your other options and come back later in life, or maybe you don't have the plan to come back later in life and then maybe it just happens, like, that does not mean that you stop loving that person. And yes, like, we are 22 years old, 23, and we can say that, like, you can be with somebody for a long period of your life or even a short period of your life and still love them, but know that you cannot be in a relationship with them. And so anything you need at the drop of a dime, you would be there for them, but y'all are just not in a relationship. So I think there's ways to make that work too, like loving someone from a distance and maybe not being on their phone every day. It's definitely possible. So it's just up to you. Like, you don't have to let go of anybody in your life. If you feel like, okay, they're a good person, I love them, I want them around, they're my friend, we've built an amazing bond, we just are not compatible to be partners, like, nobody has to tell you to get rid of that person from your life. That's not what building relationships is about.
And then just to expand on your point, like, just because you love somebody doesn't mean that's who your life partner, I always say this, that doesn't mean that's who your life partner is supposed to be. There's plenty of people, whether it's platonic relationships, like romantic relationships, that I've had in my past that I love to this day so much. But we aren't meant to be on that level. And that's understood and it's fair, but it doesn't mean that it has to be this catastrophe of a bond now and we can't speak and we can't, like, it doesn't always have to go that way.
Exactly.
But that's obviously up to the person and then whatever the situation is.
So the next question was how to let go of a relationship, or I guess next topic. I've probably tried everything. I'm not gonna go into detail of like what to try. I guess we can like break it up into like positive things you can do and maybe some not so positive things you could do.
This probably sounds cliche, but what works or has worked for me in the past is literally praying. Everybody might not be religious, you know, different people have different ways they handle situations, but stepping out of a relationship and choosing to end something with somebody that obviously means a lot to you is very difficult. It's easier said than done. Your friends can tell you, you know, family, whoever, other people in your life can tell you like, y'all reached a point where it's time to end. But nobody is ever going to feel that breakup or the end of that dynamic, whether it's an actual relationship, because it hurts even when y'all not official sometimes. Nobody's going to feel that, how the two people involved feel it. Like, all is not lost. Like, that person meant something to you in that time. They were valuable to you during that time, you know, and that's what it was. Like, life is a changing game. Like, sometimes cards just play out like that.
So I would say, like, coming from the perspective of your partner broke up with you and not you broke up with your partner, because I feel like those are two very like different scenarios.
That's true.
But if you are the person who was broken up with, the reason that they probably broke up with you, like the reason they probably gave you was, I need to focus on myself, or like, I'm not ready to be in a relationship. I'm not where I need to be personally. I think you need to take that and like really internalize that and take that same advice. If your partner says they need some time to work on themselves, like they cannot be in a relationship right now because they need to work on themselves, you probably need to do the same thing too. And whether or not, if they're lying or not, but take that same energy that you were giving to that your partner and pour it into yourself. Like, that is the time where you need to be in the gym every day. You need to be eating right. You need to be focusing on, you know, getting right with God, whatever your faith may be.
It's not about proving all of that to the other person.
Exactly.
It's not about saying, okay, I'm about to get fine so this man can feel me. I'm about to get fine so this girl can feel me.
It's for yourself.
Exactly.
It's for yourself, like making yourself feel good. I feel like when you get into a relationship, or what I know from experience, like what you're doing in that relationship is always for that other person, and you start forgetting about the stuff that you really enjoy as an individual. So like, if there's a hobby that you want to get back to it. If there are friends that you haven't seen in a minute, do that. If you want to go on dates, if you feel like you're ready, I feel like that's a whole separate conversation. But like, start dating people. Like, start doing things that you were doing before you got in that relationship that you missed. So,
and learn from that relationship. Figure out what you liked, what you didn't like, and then dating and getting to know new people doesn't have to be this malicious act to get back at whoever because of whatever. It's really understanding and growing from situations you were in and learning from that and applying it so that you can move forward.
Exactly. And I know, like, in this season you're probably very heartbroken, and you may hate your partner, or you may hate your ex at this point. Like, you may not want to talk to them, you may not want to see them, but like, there's a certain point where even having those conversations may help you let go of them. And so you have to figure out when the right timing is for that. Like, but there's a lot to learn from someone who was super close to you. Like, those people were so close to you that you decided to be in a relationship with them, so they can probably give you some advice on what you need to work on. Like, it depends on how mature they are, obviously,
and if you all can get to that space,
if you all can get to that point and have a mature conversation. But I feel like I said before, if your partner points something out to you that you need to work on, in the moment you probably didn't hear them because you were just upset and you wanted to save the relationship, but they probably have some good points, and maybe you can like I said, internalize that and figure out what you need to work on.
All that we said is much easier said than done, but it does get better. Like, I'm pretty sure every person, well, I don't know if every person in the world, but a majority of people in this world have gone through a breakup and probably have been on both ends, been broken up with someone. Like, it kind of takes that to get to where you need to be romantically, relationship wise.
Cry if you need to, but like know when you need to stop crying. And also keep good people around you.
So we are coming to our last question, and I think this is a really, really important question, but I think this gives us a space to kind of actually, like, I mean, all of this is going off of experience, but really kind of reflect on everything we just talked about.
In a more personal way, I guess. So someone asked to talk about the lessons we've learned from past relationships. You want to start? You want to start?
I can start. I have a lot of lessons. Okay, I had my first boyfriend. I was like 6. But for real, I think one of my biggest lessons, like, so far in relationships has been, you have to know your value. You have to know what you bring to the table. You have to remember that, because it's very easy to get so caught up in this whole love thing, get so caught up in a partner, and you start losing sight of yourself. You stop doing stuff you used to do. You stop hanging around people you used to hang around. Whatever the situation is, it's important. Like, all in all, it's just really important to remember what you bring to the table and have the comfort in knowing that, so that you like untouchable. If that makes sense. Like, know what you bring to the table.
I think if I could jumble up all of my lessons into one, like, statement, it will probably be don't settle. Don't settle for how someone treats you. Don't settle for how you treat yourself. Like, I could say so many things about settling, because when I tell you, it gets better. It gets better than what you're dealing with at 16. It gets better than what you're dealing with at 21. Like, it gets better every time. Like, you have to know that if you are in a space where you feel like, well, like, he really cares about me, she really cares about me, like, I don't think I'm gonna find anybody else. You are. And even if you don't find anybody else, you could treat yourself better than what your partner is treating you in that moment where you feel like this is just the worst. Like, you also have to, like what Eunice said, like, don't settle for the things you're doing for yourself either. Like, if you were someone who took amazing care of themselves before you got in a relationship and you realized that that was starting to slip away, like, I know that happens in relationships because I've experienced that. Like, you stop focusing on your goals, you stop focusing on things you were passionate about, you stop focusing on your friends. Like, don't settle for that. Like, why are you doing that? Because at the end of the day, like, people come and go like that. Like, even friends come and go, boyfriends come and go, girlfriends come and go, but like, what are you gonna have without all of that? If you literally, I guess a big lesson, if all of that was taken away today, what would you have? I know for me, I would say I would have my relationship with God. But what if I didn't have a good relationship with God? Like, that was something that I needed in a relationship or without a relationship. So why wasn't I focusing on that? So I think about what would happen to you if all your money was gone, your boyfriend was gone, your friends were gone, all of that was gone. What would you have? And so don't give up on those things that you feel like you would need to get through some hard times.
And then I would also say, you're not going to have to beg the right person. So you're not going to have to beg the right person to communicate. You're not going to have to beg the right person to treat you right. You're not going to have to beg the right person to acknowledge you. You're not going to have to keep explaining over and over and over what your love language is to the right person. The person that's for you, love is a complicated thing. Relationships can be complicated, but it shouldn't be draining.
Right.
You shouldn't wake up like, I gotta do this today. You shouldn't, every conversation shouldn't be negative. You're gonna have bumps in the road, but if at a certain point you're realizing this is affecting my livelihood, I am not happy.
And you start comparing yourself to other women,
Man.
or you're comparing yourself to other men, like, why don't I have that? Like, you don't have to settle for that. You don't. Like I said before, it gets better. If you are single, if you are in a relationship, if you are not happy, change something. And I know it's cliche, but everybody comes back. People come back like
a dart.
Yes, like people are going to come back to you
When you're a good person.
exactly. If you are a good person, if you have a good heart, like, good memories last far longer than bad ones.
Yeah.
So if you all are in a space where it's just like bad moment after bad moment after bad moment, like, take some time, figure yourself out, but like those good memories is what is gonna shine through, and y'all will be good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know we had a lot of fun doing it just because we love to talk, and we love
talk about this stuff all the time.
Yes, in our friend group, this is like a daily conversation.
Yeah.
We love talking about everything. We love helping younger women, giving advice, like,
or men.
Yeah, or men, if there's men that watch my videos. But yeah, we really hope that you all enjoyed this. Maybe next time we could do like a mukbang.
Yeah.
And we could do some food. So if there's anything else that you all want to see, any other questions that you all have, do that. You can follow me on Instagram at Camryn Patrice. I don't know if you want to put your Instagram out there. If you just wants to have her Instagram, if y'all want to find her, you can find her.
You can find me through her.
Yeah, you can find her through me. But yes, Camryn Patrice, connect with me on there. And yeah, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.
Bye.
Just take a little sip. Just got a blooper reel. Okay.
Toxicity. People think being toxic is cute.
It's not cute.
Leave that in quarantine.
When you've been at it a while.
Oh, that's okay.
You thought your hair was coming down?
I'm like, hold on, my bangs separate.
Oh my god.
So, what was I even?
I get what you're saying. You're
Yeah, so
you're not the same person.
So
bloopers.
loving that person through every season.
Yes. Loving that person.
Loving that person through every season.